The biggest mistake you can make in life is to be continually fearing you will make one. Elbert Hubbard. My friends, we make our mistakes practice trading each and every day. We don't fear them because we learn from them. In fact, the most learning we get is from practice trading and making mistakes. And then once you get good with the practice trading, then we get into fractional trading, where we use a small dollar amount, say $100. And if you're trading something like the S&P 500 that goes for $400 plus, what do? Well, if you've got a broker that allows you to fractionally trade, you buy a fraction of a share at, say, $100. And then you see if you can make 2 or 3 or 5% on it. And if you lose 20%, it's $20. It's not $20,000 if you were trading with $100,000 because you think you're the best trader in the world when you don't have the skill set. I tell everybody all the time, if you want to do that kind of trading where you don't know what you're doing, go to Vegas because you can see a show as you lose money. Now, let's jump into these charts. Everything down for the day but Bitcoin. Let's see where we are on the S&P 500. Reached a higher high during the week. We can see we're just a little below average volume there, about where we've been the last 3 weeks. When we saw this doji, it looked like the market was rolling over. Gave us some real signs of that. We had a doji. Somebody's buying, somebody's selling. Sure looks like the market's going to go down. And then, of course, the next week, we get a spinning top, lower than average volume, not what we would want to see. We'd want to see it accelerating down, which it didn't do. Then it ticked up the following week, beginning the 16th of January, and then further up this week. Where's the market going? Well, up for right now. We can see where it's been pegging for the last few days around the same spot after things really bumped up last Friday, and then Monday, and then Wednesday, and then just sort of hanging there throughout the day on Wednesday afternoon, Thursday, and Friday. Again, down a little bit, Friday 0.13%. So as we get into this next week, we're going to just see, is this market just going to keep tagging up, just pushing itself up, or is it going to roll over and go down? About the time everybody tells you the market's going to just reach higher and higher and higher highs, usually a sign it's not. So we'll see. Sort of like what we saw recently with Bitcoin. We'll talk about that when we get there. What's up with the Qs? That is the NASDAQ 100, the tech stocks, up 0.60%. Saw the same kind of thing where it bumped up, slid sideways, got a red spinning top, more than a doji. Didn't quite have average volume, though. The next week, we had a doji, little less than average volume. Then last week, beginning the 16th, higher than average volume, going up some. This week, bigger candle, less volume. So again, we can see where things really bumped up on Wednesday morning of this week. And then, sort of petering down 0.60. I hope I said down. It's been a long day. I didn't say up, did I? Down 0.60%. We can see where it started moving down on Thursday afternoon, down Friday morning, further down Friday afternoon. So we'll see where this next week is going. It has been a long day and a long week, but a good week. Let's talk about where things are on 20-year government bonds, down 0.19%. We saw things peak. Now, we saw them move up to peaking. See, we had these 3 candles together. End of November, beginning of December, mid-December, had nice high volume. Then the volume went down to just average. Then it really dropped, and then things started rolling over. We saw volume accelerate the last 2 weeks. This week slowing down some. And did we move to a lower low? The low this week? Yes, I remember. We've talked about it every day. 93.10 last week, 93.26. So it did go a little bit lower, not much of a candle there. So we'll keep an eye, see if bonds are going to accelerate again on the way down. But we have our 4th week of down movement. Let's look at gold. Gold down just a little bit, 0.07. Did not reach the low of last week this week. Look at the volume. It's well below average. We saw the volume really peak back at the end of November where it popped up that week beginning the 27th of November and hit our ceiling, our purple ceiling. Then we saw it hit the ceiling again on the week beginning December the 18th, popped up the candle all the way to it, the wick above it on the last week of the year, and then a doji after that, beginning of the year, green doji, and then down since then. So would like to see gold pull back rather nicely. One thing I've been showing you guys that I do find interesting is GDX. This is the gold miners, okay? The big gold miners, GDX. Check this out. GDX down, strong for 4 weeks. Isn't that interesting to watch it just, zoom down? Actually, let's see, down this week to 27.23, last week 27.33. So, 10 cents lower this week, smaller candle. Volume was nicer the prior 2 weeks. This week, below average volume. But isn't it interesting when we look at what gold miners are doing versus gold not down as much? So again, if you can find things that give you sort of a heads up and you look and say, oh, well, a leading indicator for gold is gold miners. I'm not saying it is. I'm saying, but look for things like that. That can be very helpful. A little extra knowledge never hurts. So we'll be watching to see if gold keeps going down next week. Now let's look at Bitcoin, up for the day 4.34%, but doesn't make up for all that down movement over the last 2 weeks. About the time you heard everybody saying, hey, there's these new ETFs on Bitcoin, Bitcoin's going to go through the roof. Isn't that always the sucker's play? You can see all this volume. You have all this movement on top, this little candle here. Of course, the suckers were buying and the insiders were selling, and then Bitcoin goes down. Average volume this week, again, a lower low. Where's it going to go this next week? I don't know. Could turn around. We got a green spinning top now. Average volume. We didn't have peak volume with higher than average volume there, so that's interesting. What volume tends to tell us in that typically is that, this is short term and should roll back over. Not going to say that's going to happen. It's typically what we think will happen because we didn't have peak volume. We didn't have exhaustion in this short term down. So we'll watch and see where things go. They may turn around and go up this next week. If we start breaching our trend line, if we start again seeing a real acceleration in volume and solid green candles pumping up, then, of course, starting first on the half day, which we do see here, and then translating into the 2-day, and then we start seeing green on the weekly, well, might be time to think about going long again in Bitcoin. We shall see. Keep your eyes open, keep your head on a swivel, and be ready to jump into those practice trades when they present the opportunity. We always love to hear from you. CW@chartingwealth.com. If you appreciate what we do here for you free every day, how about underwrite a little bit of the channel by becoming a Patreon member at any of the 3 levels? First thing you'll get, you'll love it. Options made simple the Charting Wealth way. Plus you get our weekly vertical crossovers every week. Our 3-wave trades, those are the curated charts from liquid options in liquid stocks and liquid ETFs. And also you get early access to charting cryptos, commodities, and currencies, which on Fridays I upload for the world. God bless my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.